Good afternoon, my name is Natalia. I'm a PhD student from the Federal University of Viçosa in Brazil, and I'm going to present a quick study on the post-fire above ground and soil carbon succession in lowland Atlantic forest that I developed along with my supervisors, Carlos Schaefer and Luis Maiago. Forest fires have been frequent in the Brazilian Atlantic forest, one of the most diverse and threatened tropical forests in the world, found along the Atlantic coast of Brazil. Fire, it can cause change in soil properties and the loss of carbon into the atmosphere, being one of the main sources of greenhouse gas emissions. All this ends up affecting the functioning and service of ecosystems. However, after suffering disturbance, for example fire, some forests are able to return to a pre-disturbance state through the process of natural regeneration, recovering their functions. In this context, we aim to investigate the effects of fire and succession on above ground carbon and soil organic carbon stock at local scale, and evaluate whether the relative distribution of carbon among the vegetation and the soil pools vary during succession. We hypothesize that fire affect negatively both stocks and that they will increase during succession, showing they are able to recover, and that the relative contributions of vegetation and soil pools to total carbon storage, it will change during succession. So for this study, we established plots in 14 sites of lowland forests. 6 of them were classified as old growth forests and 8 as second growth forests, which are the forests that were disturbed by fire. These forests are located inside 4 different conservation units. In each site we established 10 plots, and in each plot we measure all live trees with DBH higher or equal to 4.8 and collected 1 composite topsoil sample. And for each plot, we estimated the above ground carbon stock, giving us 50% of biomass storage and also obtained the soil organic carbon. What we found for the effects of fire and carbon stock by comparing the stock between the two different forest type, second growth and old growth forest, is that they have less carbon stock than the old growth forest, but they didn't show difference between their soil carbon stock. These results show that the effects of fire are still noticeable on vegetation and suggest that any gains or loss in soil carbon after fire may have been offset by the 17 years of succession these forests have already gone through. And for the effects of succession on carbon, we use the basal area as a proxy of succession. Thus, we assess the trends in carbon stock with increasing basal area, and we observe that the tree carbon stock increases through succession as expected, but the soil carbon stock does not change. This lack of pattern for soil carbon has already been observed in several other studies. And also, considering our previous result that soil does not differ between forest type, this suggests that the soil of this forest is resistant to disturbance, as we found in our other study. We calculated also the relative contribution of tree and soil to total carbon stock, which was given as a percentage, to assess whether this contribution changed during succession. Interestingly, in young forests with less than 7 meters square per hectare of basal area, the soil contributes more to total carbon storage. And throughout forest development, the vegetation contributes more to the carbon storage. This shows that the importance of the vegetation for the carbon storage in the forest increases during succession. We conclude that fire does not cause long-term effects on soil carbon pool in lowland Atlantic forest, that old growth forests and second growth forests, they play key roles in the global carbon balance by being potential sources and sequesters of atmospheric carbon, therefore contribute to an important ecosystem service, which is the carbon sequestration, and also that these forests showed the capacity of recovering above ground carbon stock during succession. To conclude, we emphasize that promoting the conservation of this forest The regrowth of secondary forests and the conservation of soils are essential to mitigate carbon emissions and climate change. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.